TKM Incorporated in Moss, Tennessee is a construction company that specializes in erosion control, seeding, and soil, hydroseeding, hydromulch, minor excavation, and silt fence. They also provide traffic control and construction signs. Their business is keeping people safe, but their passion, their mission, is they wish that all men could be saved. TKM has adopted the nickname the King's Men because as they serve you, they also serve the King. If they could provide any of their services for you, please contact them at 931-243-3958. That is 931-243-3958. Or you can contact them on the net at tkminc2001 at twlakes.net. That is tkminc2001 at twlakes.net. TKM Incorporated is a sponsor of Keeping Up with Jones, the Lonnie Jones podcast adventure. I really do try not to be a radical. I try to live a balanced life. As an average academic student, I learned that the bell curve was my friend, and that in that vast territory between the boundaries of ideal and unacceptable, I could live a very fulfilled, free-range life in the world of average. I'm not great at anything, but I'm competent at lots of things. I would say my views on religion, fitness, accountability, and psychology lean a little more toward conservative, but I'm neither a zealot nor a free-range universalist either. But today, I will draw a proverbial line in the proverbial sand. There's a story on the news, and I have decided I'm going to stockpile. Now, I'd use the word prepare for a shortage. You might use the word hoard. Reminds me of a Calvin and Hobbes cartoon. How many boards would the Mongol hordes hoard if the Mongol hordes got bored? I'm not talking about boards, but I'm going to hoard. Molan, Labe is purported to be the Greek phrase that King Leonidas uttered at Thermopylae. The Persians had surrounded them, I guess, or had broken through, and they were going to do this last final conflict, and the Persians yelled to the Greek warriors that they must surrender their weapons. And it has been variously translated, but the most popular translation that you'll see is basically Leonidas looks at this army that's approaching them and says, "You want our weapons? Molan Labe, come and take them." Well, that's where I'm at. Come and get them. You better have a reason to cross Chapman Mountain, because between Chapman Mountain and the Flint River will be free America. If you want them, if you're going to ban them, then come and get them. And when you get them, you will have to pry them from my cold, dead hands. Yes, some new study in California has led companies to consider nationwide banning Pop-Tarts. Now, look, at my age, my activities are being limited. I'm losing some of my freedoms and some of my autonomy. I sold my snowboard. I just disassembled my climbing wall. I'm struggling a little bit to fight diabetes. I don't get to eat Pop-Tarts like I want to. I can't just go have a Pop-Tart for breakfast. But at least, the least I should be able to do is have a choice to eat them when my glucose is low, or some days just decide I want to have one. You see, I've already been diagnosed with an autoimmune condition that affects my blood sugar before I knew they even made mini Pop-Tarts. I already feel like I've been robbed because I didn't know mini Pop-Tarts existed. And now some nutrition fascist is going to ban Pop-Tarts? Well, you want to ban them? Come and take them. And by the way, it's not just Pop-Tarts. You see, Pop-Tarts fall into the category of things that contain X color dye, number, whatever. And that includes Fruit Loops, Skittles, and Nerds. They're on the list. And they may even come after Oreos. Madness. Dogs and cats living together. I can't do this. Now, look, I can go them down the road. I can go north of my office or south of my office, and I can buy CBD all day. You can have CBD oil. You can have CBD brownies. You can have CBD gummies. You can have CBD in vapors. You can have CBD in capsules. There's a huge weed farm just north of Winchester Road. If you go down to the southern border, it looks like high school senior night at Six Flags, but you're worried that I'm going to eat a Pop-Tart? How did Pop-Tarts become the enemy of the state? Now, if you're going to get on some wild campaign and you're going to attack fake color and bad taste, why don't you go after Kool-Aid? I mean, Pop-Tarts have never been linked to a cult suicide. And actually, that was actually Flavor Aid, but in substance, they're the same thing. It's pretty much the worst substitute for a soft drink ever invented. You could tell the difference between legit Vacation Bible School and fake Vacation Bible School, because legit Vacation Bible School gave you Coke products and fake VBS gave you Kool-Aid. Talk about ruining your health. The Kool-Aid guy hasn't been able to use a door since 1979. He's always crashing through walls. And researchers have concluded that if you took that guy and he was a real thing, if he was a real living jar full of that juice, you take the jar and the juice come out, the dude would weigh 1,100 pounds. And what's he full of? Well, he's full of water mixed with sugar, mixed with artificially dyed powder. I'm just saying, Pop-Tarts are evil, but the Kool-Aid guy still gets to run around creating mayhem. See, when you make choices about substances, relationships, and activities, those choices can't be externally regulated. Banning something doesn't mean it's not available. Hey, Prohibition was a roaring success. The Just Say No campaign was ineffective, and the offensive, in-your-face anti-smoking ads that are all over TV have not eliminated smoking, vaping, dipping, or chewing. Hey, by the way, people still text and drive. What we're talking about here is an internal locus of control versus an external locus of control. My choices come from something inside me, not from some boundary you put up that's external and fake outside of me. You see, the individual has to make decisions based on values. And the values have to be internal and integral to the system. And that's the internal, integral system of a person or an organization or a church or a football team or a religion or a company or a family. You see, my choices about blood sugar, weight, cardiovascular health, morals, faith, philosophy, and behavior, they can't be effectively externally regulated. Now we've tried. The old idea of do not touch, do not taste, do not handle is ineffective in preventing indulgences. Telling me I can't have something doesn't mean I don't want it. Telling me I should not have something doesn't mean I don't want it. Telling me I can't have it doesn't guarantee that I won't use it, and telling me I should not have it does not mean I will not use it. Telling me it's bad for me doesn't actually work either. You see, choices aren't made because of warning labels or table of ingredients. Labels and tables give you information, and that information is what we use to make decisions based on values. Guidelines based on empirical evidence and objective truth can influence behavior and choice, but cannot control either. You see, rules are only effective if they originate from internal values. If the value, the internal construct, if that goal within us is, hey, we want to participate in what is safe or what is moral or what is right or what is healthy or what is effective or what is efficient, then those values will generate rules, and the rules that follow will make sense, and they will be consistent. They just won't be this arbitrary, we've decided to make red dye number whatever of the devil. You see, rules without relationships leads to rebellion. Rules without relationships to values almost guarantee rebellion. See, once the rules come out of our values, we are much more likely to adhere to the parameters because the rules accomplish a goal, and the goal is rooted in a value. In a discussion about self-control, an ancient writer used a chariot racing term. He's writing to this audience, and he's talking to them because they were living in debauchery. And he says, what I want you to do, that each of you should control his own vessel in sanctification and in honor, not in passion of lust like the pagans. Now, what the phrase literally means is to control your vessel. Is I want you to learn to drive your own chariot. I want you to be able to stay in your lane. You drive the vehicle. You don't let your passions, your emotions, your desires, your wants, your fears, your prejudices, your biases, your moods, your irritants, your anxieties. You don't let any of those things take control and drive your vessel. You see, having the emotion, having the craving, having the impulse, whatever, is not where the battle is fought. Because see, a lot of times we think, hey, I'm not going to have the emotion. I'm not going to have the craving. I'm not going to have the anxiety. I'm not going to have the intrusive thought. I'm not going to have the fear. That's not where the battle is fought. The battle is fought not in having or not having the emotion or the thought or the impulse, but rather in how I respond to the thought, the emotion, or the impulse. And learning how I respond to it, that gives me control of my vessels. You see, my vessel may get into a tailspin. My vessel may hit a bump. My vessel may run into a patch of dark ice. There's all kind of things that happen. And it's not whether or not your vessel's ever spun out or not that gives you control. My mom would proudly say, hey, I've never been in a tailspin. That's because you've never driven over 40, Mom. And just because you drive slow and cautious doesn't make you a safe driver. How many wrecks have you been in? None. Yeah, well, how many have you caused? The battle is fought not on that my vessel doesn't run into these trouble spots, but how I control my vessel when I hit these trouble spots. There's sugar and red dye number 7 and a Pop-Tart. Okay, let's replace that with fake sugar and red dye number 8. That doesn't do anything to address the self-control. There's real sugar in red dye number 7 and a Pop-Tart. Okay, maybe I won't eat the whole box. Maybe I won't eat one every day. Maybe I'll only eat one when my blood glucose is below a certain level. You see, it's not effective to ban emotion number 7 or to say that feeling number 5 can't be on the shelf anymore. What you have to realize is just because it's on the shelf, just because it's available, doesn't mean I have to use it, doesn't mean I have to consume it, doesn't mean I have to overindulge. What it means is that when I experience these things, when something outside the vessel affects the vessel, I get to decide who drives the vessel. You see, what is effective is to decide that regardless of the ingredients in my day, regardless of those circumstances, I'm going to respond. I'm going to control how I respond to that set of ingredients. It's not the ingredients, but my response to the ingredients that determines whether or not I'm controlling my vessel. Now, the one approach, we're going to eliminate the ingredients, is being controlled. The other, I'm going to decide that I can control my responses to the ingredients. That is self-control. Using the tool of shortwave radio, World Christian Broadcasting literally covers the world every day with the gospel. They use 2 large curtain antennas. One is located in Anchor Point, Alaska, and the other in Madagascar. They send out messages that are recorded at their international home in Franklin, Tennessee. They make available 40 hours of broadcast every day. The broadcasts are made in English, Chinese, Russian, Spanish, Portuguese, Korean, English for Africa, and Arabic. They would love for your group to visit them. You can bring your ladies group, your youth group, or your men's group. Just give them a call at 615-371-8707, 615-371-8707, or you can go to 3Ws and a dot, worldchristian.org, find the Donate Here button, and make a financial contribution to support this work that literally covers the world every day with the gospel. World Christian Broadcasting, in cooperation with Keeping Up with Jones, the Lonnie Jones podcast adventure. Using the tool of shortwave radio, World Christian Broadcasting literally covers the world every day with the gospel. They use 2 large curtain antennas. One is located in Anchor Point, Alaska, and the other in Madagascar. They send out messages that are recorded at their international home in Franklin, Tennessee. They make available 40 hours of broadcast every day. The broadcasts are made in English, Chinese, Russian, Spanish, Portuguese, Korean, English for Africa, and Arabic. They would love for your group to visit them. You can bring your ladies group, your youth group, or your men's group. Just give them a call at 615-371-8707, 615-371-8707, or you can go to worldchristian.org, find the Donate Here button, and make a financial contribution to support this work that literally covers the world every day with the gospel. World Christian Broadcasting, in cooperation with Keeping Up with Jones, the Lonnie Jones podcast adventure. Keeping Up with Jones, the Lonnie Jones podcast adventure, is sponsored by us. What? We sponsor ourselves? Is that even legal? Check us out on Amazon. You can have access to the titles of Pedagogue, the youth ministry book by Lonnie Jones; Cognitive Spiritual Development, a Christ-centered approach to spiritual self-esteem; Grappling with Life, Controlling Your Inside Space, a small essay using the principles of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to talk about psychological and emotional self-defense; If I Were a Mouse, a children's book written and illustrated by Lonnie Jones; and then The Selfish Reel, a very short story about a decision. Also, you can check out our YouTube channel to see archived lessons and presentations from across the country, some videos with rope tricks and knots. Don't forget to visit the Facebook page 550 Guys to learn about the little rope men that we make and that we invented and that we make. And then be sure to click like, subscribe, and share. This is Keeping Up with Jones, the Lonnie Jones podcast adventure.